The bullet missed my daughter's head by 3 inches. 3 inches between her life and death. I was a Marine sniper who could hit targets from a mile away, but I couldn't protect my disabled child from the HOA president who wanted us gone. Before watching full story, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more stories. The bullet missed my daughter's head by 3 inches. 3 inches between life and death. 3 inches between breathing and buried. 3 inches that still wake me up screaming in the middle of the night, drenched in cold sweat, reaching for a rifle that isn't there anymore. My name is Marcus Chin. For 12 years I served as a Marine Corps sniper. 2 tours in Afghanistan. 1 in Iraq. I've taken shots from over a mile away. I've held my breath in 120-degree heat, waiting for the perfect moment. I've done things I'll never speak about, things that earn me medals I keep in a drawer and never look at. But none of that, none of those years, none of those missions, none of those moments where I held life and death at the end of my crosshairs, prepared me for the day I almost lost the only thing in this world that matters to me. My daughter, Emma. Emma was born with cerebral palsy. The doctors said she'd never walk. They said a lot of things, actually, most of them designed to lower our expectations, to prepare us for a life of limitations. Emma didn't get that memo. By age 4 she was walking with braces. By 6 she was in school, her smile brighter than any kid I'd ever seen. She had this way of looking at the world like every single thing was a miracle waiting to happen. A butterfly? Miracle. A flower growing through a crack in the sidewalk? Miracle. Rain after a hot day? The greatest miracle of all. Her left side was weaker than her right. She walked with a limp that got worse when she was tired. Her left hand didn't always cooperate the way she wanted. But God, she never complained. Not once. Not ever. After her mother died from cancer 3 years ago, it was just the 2 of us. Emma was 10 then, and I watched her grieve with a grace I couldn't manage myself. She held my hand at the funeral. She wiped my tears. This little girl who'd already fought so hard just to walk, somehow found the strength to hold us both together. I promised myself I'd give her the best life possible. I'd protect her from everything. Keep her safe. Make her happy. I had no idea how badly I'd fail. We moved to Riverside Meadows last summer. It seemed perfect. Quiet neighborhood, good schools, a small yard where Emma could practice walking without her braces. The house was all on one level, which meant no stairs. It was everything we needed. The HOA seemed normal at first. Monthly dues, some basic rules about lawn maintenance and paint colors. Nothing unusual. Then we met Patricia Thornwell. She was the HOA president, a woman in her early 50s with steel gray hair pulled back so tight it looked painful. She wore expensive clothes and drove a white Mercedes SUV with vanity plates that read Rules 1ST. Our first interaction happened 2 weeks after we moved in. I was helping Emma practice in the front yard. She was working on walking without holding on to anything, taking careful steps on the grass, her face scrunched up in concentration. Patricia's Mercedes pulled up to our curb. She got out like she owned the sidewalk, the street, the air itself. "Excuse me," she said, not introducing herself. "Is that child going to fall on the grass? It's just been reseeded." I stared at her. "I'm sorry, what?" "The grass. It's communal property. The HOA just paid for new seed. If she's going to fall, she needs to practice elsewhere." My jaw tightened. "This is my lawn. I paid for this house." "You paid for the house. The landscaping is HOA property. It says so in the bylaws, section 4.3. She looked at Emma like she was a piece of trash on the sidewalk. Perhaps a park would be more appropriate for special needs activities. Emma's face fell. She heard it all. I stepped between them. "We're fine right here. Thank you." Patricia's smile was ice. "I'll be watching, Mr. Chin. This neighborhood has standards." That was just the beginning. Over the next 6 months, Patricia made our lives miserable. She filed complaints because Emma's wheelchair ramp, which I'd built myself, which we needed, was not in keeping with neighborhood aesthetics. She sent letters about our mailbox being a 1/4 inch too tall. She called code enforcement because she claimed our fence was 2 inches over the property line. It wasn't. She started parking across our driveway when I was taking Emma to physical therapy, making us late. When I confronted her, she'd smile and say, "Oh, I didn't realize that was your driveway. The lines are so faded." She filed a noise complaint because Emma's wheelchair sometimes squeaked on the sidewalk during our evening walks. A wheelchair. Squeaking. Too loud. But the worst thing, the thing that should have warned me, was the way she looked at Emma. Not with pity or awkwardness, the way some people do when they see a disabled child. Patricia looked at Emma with pure disgust. Like my daughter was something broken that shouldn't exist in her perfect little world. I tried to be patient. I tried to be civil. I was a Marine. I knew discipline. I knew how to control my anger. But every night, I'd watch Emma's face as she asked me why that lady didn't like her. And every night, something inside me cracked a little more. It was a Thursday afternoon in late spring. The kind of day that feels like a gift: warm sunshine, blue sky, a light breeze that smelled like flowers. Emma had been working so hard in physical therapy, and her doctor said she could try practicing on the sidewalk without her braces for short distances. She was so excited. She'd been talking about it all week. "Daddy, I'm going to walk so good," she told me that morning, her eyes shining. "You're going to be so proud." "Baby, I'm already proud of you. Every single day." We went outside around 3 o'clock. I held her hand as we walked slowly down our driveway to the sidewalk. Then I let go, staying right next to her, ready to catch her if she stumbled. She took 1 step, 2 steps, 3. "Daddy, look. I'm doing it. I see you, baby. You're amazing." 4 steps, 5 steps. That's when Patricia's Mercedes came down the street. Too fast. Way too fast for a residential neighborhood. Emma froze, startled by the engine noise. She wobbled and I reached out to steady her. Patricia slammed on her brakes, stopping right next to us. Her window rolled down. "Get off the sidewalk," she screamed. "You're blocking the view of the street. That's against HOA regulations." Emma's eyes filled with tears. "I'm just practicing. I don't care what you're doing. This neighborhood has rules and you people think you're above them." Something in me snapped. "You need to leave. Now." Patricia's face turned red. "Don't you dare tell me what to do. I'm calling the police. I'm calling code enforcement. I'm having you evicted from this neighborhood." "Daddy?" Emma's voice was so small. I picked up my daughter, holding her close. "It's okay, sweetheart. Let's go inside." As I turned away, Patricia shouted, "That crippled brat is destroying property values. She doesn't belong here." I kept walking. Every muscle in my body screamed to turn around, to say something, to do something. But Emma was shaking in my arms, crying into my shoulder. Inside, I held her while she sobbed. "Why does she hate me, Daddy? What did I do wrong?" "Nothing, baby. You didn't do anything wrong. She's the one with the problem, not you. But she called me a bad word. She said I don't belong." I rocked her, my own tears falling into her hair. "You belong everywhere, Emma. Everywhere. Don't you ever believe anything different." That night, after Emma finally fell asleep, I sat in the dark and stared at the wall. I'd faced enemy combatants who wanted to kill me. I'd been shot at, mortared, ambushed. But nothing, absolutely nothing, had ever made me feel this helpless. 2 days later, on Saturday morning, I got a registered letter from the HOA. Patricia had filed an official complaint seeking to have us removed from the neighborhood for repeated violations and creation of a hostile environment. She was suing us, actually suing us to force us out of our home. The attached list of violations was insane: wheelchair ramp aesthetics, excessive sidewalk use, disturbing the peace with medical equipment noise, property value impact due to visible disability accommodations. My hand shook as I read it. Emma was at a friend's house for a playdate, thank God. She didn't need to see this. I called a lawyer. He said we could fight it, but HOA lawsuits were expensive and time-consuming. Even if we won, living there would be miserable. Patricia had power in that neighborhood, connections on the city council, money to burn on legal fees. "Sometimes," the lawyer said gently, "the best thing is to just move. Find somewhere without an HOA. Peace of mind is worth more than being right." I thought about it. Really thought about it. Maybe he was right. Maybe we should just leave. I was actually considering it when Emma came home that afternoon, her face glowing with happiness. "Daddy, guess what? Mrs. Henderson said I can join the neighborhood kids art club. We're going to paint together every Wednesday. Isn't that amazing?" My heart broke. She'd finally made friends here. She loved her school. Her doctors were nearby. And I was thinking about running away because of one hateful woman. "That's wonderful, sweetheart. Can I go tomorrow? Please?" I hugged her tight. "Yes, baby. Of course you can." That night I made a decision. We weren't leaving. This was our home. Our neighborhood. And Patricia Thornwell didn't get to drive us out. The next day was Sunday. Emma wanted to practice walking again. After yesterday's good news, her confidence was back, and I wasn't about to let Patricia steal that from her. We went outside around 4 o'clock. The street was quiet. Most people were inside. Perfect. Emma held my hand as we started down the sidewalk. She was doing so well, her steps more sure than they'd been before. "You're getting stronger every day," I told her. She beamed up at me. "I want to surprise Mrs. Henderson at art club. Show her how good I can walk." We made it to the end of the block. Emma was tired but happy. We turned around to head back. That's when Patricia's Mercedes came around the corner. She stopped right in the middle of the street, blocking our path. Got out of the car. Walked toward us. "I thought I made myself clear," she said, her voice dripping with venom. "You're not welcome here." I positioned myself between her and Emma. "We have every right to be here. This is a public sidewalk." "Not for much longer. The HOA board voted yesterday. You're being evicted. You have 30 days. My blood went cold. "You can't do that." I just did. "The bylaws are very clear about members who create disturbances and lower property values. You've been found in violation." She looked past me at Emma with pure hatred. "And that thing you call a daughter is the biggest violation of all. Don't you dare." "What are you going to do, Mr. Chin? Hit me? Please, try it. I'll have you arrested so fast, and then what happens to the cripple? Foster care?" Emma started crying behind me. Patricia smiled. "Exactly. You're powerless. You're going to pack up your broken little family and get out of my neighborhood. And if you're not gone in 30 days, I'll make your life such a living hell that you'll wish." "Mrs. Thornwell?" A voice called from across the street. Our neighbor, Mr. Rodriguez, was standing on his porch. "That's enough." Patricia whirled around. "Mind your own business, Carlos. I'm calling the police. You're harassing them. I'm enforcing HOA rules." More neighbors came out. Mrs. Henderson, the Johnsons, the Patels. They'd all heard. Patricia's face went purple with rage. She spun back to me. "This isn't over." She stormed to her car, got in, and peeled out down the street. I picked up Emma, who was sobbing, into my shoulder. The neighbors gathered around us, offering support, saying they'd testify that Patricia was harassing us, that they'd fight the eviction. But I barely heard them. Because I'd seen something in Patricia's eyes in that final moment. Something that terrified me more than any enemy sniper ever had. She wasn't done. Not even close. It happened on Wednesday. Emma was so excited about art club. She'd picked out her favorite shirt, purple with sparkles, and spent 20 minutes choosing which hair clips to wear. "I'm going to paint a picture of me and you, Daddy. For our house. I can't wait to see it, baby." Mrs. Henderson's house was just 4 doors down. Emma could walk there by herself. It was one of her big goals, to be independent enough to visit neighbors alone. "Are you sure you don't want me to walk with you?" I asked. She shook her head, determined. "I can do it, Daddy. It's only 4 houses." I watched from our porch as she made her way down the sidewalk, her gait uneven but steady. She was so proud, so focused. She made it past the first house. The second. Then Patricia's door opened. It happened so fast. Patricia stepped out onto her porch, the 3rd house on the way to Mrs. Henderson's. She was holding something in her hand. A gun. "I warned you," she screamed. "I warned you to leave." Emma froze on the sidewalk, staring up at her in confusion. "Mrs. Thornwell?" Her small voice carried in the quiet afternoon. Time slowed down. I was already moving, already running, but I was too far away. Too far. Patricia raised the gun. Aimed it at my baby girl. "You don't belong here." The shot rang out. I watched the bullet pass through the space where Emma's head had been a split second before. Emma had stumbled, her cerebral palsy making her foot drag just enough that she lurched to the side at that exact moment. The bullet hit the tree behind her instead. Then I was there, throwing my body over Emma's, covering her completely. More shots. 2 more. 3. I felt one pass so close to my head that I heard the whisper of it cutting through the air. Then silence. Emma was screaming. I was screaming. Neighbors were screaming. Aunt Patricia stood on her porch, the gun hanging from her hand, her face blank. "I told you to leave," she said quietly. "I told you." The police arrived within minutes. Multiple calls from multiple neighbors. Patricia didn't resist arrest. She just stood there empty as they handcuffed her and read her rights. An ambulance came. Emma wasn't physically hurt, but she was in shock, shaking so hard I couldn't get her to stop. They gave her something to calm her down, checked her over, said she'd need therapy. A lot of therapy. I held her in the back of the ambulance, rocking her like I used to when she was a baby, whispering the same words over and over. "You're safe. I've got you. You're safe." But I was lying. Because I hadn't kept her safe. I'd let a monster live 4 doors away from my daughter. I'd known Patricia was dangerous, known she was escalating, and I tried to handle it the civilian way, the legal way, the right way. And my daughter almost died because of it. The detectives who interviewed me were professional but clearly shaken. One of them, Detective Morrison, a woman in her 40s with kind eyes, sat with me while Emma slept under sedation at the hospital. "Mr. Chin, I need to know if you made any threats toward Mrs. Thornwell. Did you ever tell her you'd hurt her? That you wanted her dead? Anything like that?" "No." "Did you know about her gun?" "I didn't even know she owned one." Morrison nodded, making notes. "We're getting multiple statements from neighbors about her behavior toward your daughter. The harassment, the slurs, the escalating confrontations. Is that enough? To keep her locked up?" Morrison hesitated. "She's being charged with 3 counts of attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon, child endangerment, and several other charges. But," she paused, "her lawyer is already floating an insanity defense, saying she had a mental break." My hands clenched into fists. She knew exactly what she was doing. "I agree. But I need you to understand something, Mr. Chin. She comes from money. Lots of it. Her family has connections. This is going to be a fight. I don't care how long it takes." Morrison studied me carefully. "Your military record came up in our background check. Marine sniper. 12 years of service. Honorable discharge." I said nothing. "I'm telling you this because I need you to hear me. Don't do anything stupid. I know what you're feeling right now. God knows if someone tried to kill my kid, I'd want to tear them apart with my bare hands. But you need to let the system work. The system let her own a gun. The system let her get away with months of harassment. The system almost got my daughter killed. I know, and I'm sorry. But if you take justice into your own hands, you'll go to prison, and then who takes care of Emma?" She was right. Of course she was right. But lying in that hospital chair that night, watching Emma sleep with tear tracks still on her face, whimpering even in her medicated dreams, I understood something. There's a difference between justice and revenge. Justice is what the law gives you. Revenge is what you take when the law isn't enough. Patricia's bail was set at $2 million. Her family posted it in 2 hours. She was out, walking free. While my daughter couldn't sleep without the lights on, couldn't go outside without panicking, woke up screaming every night. The trial started 3 months later. Emma didn't have to testify, thank God, but I did. So did half a dozen neighbors. Patricia's lawyer painted her as a victim of mental illness, stress, a chemical imbalance that made her temporarily unaware of her actions. They brought in expert witnesses. They showed evidence of her philanthropy, her charity work, her standing in the community. They made her sound like a saint who'd had one bad day. The prosecutor was good, really good, but I could see it slipping away. The jury's faces. The way they nodded at the defense's medical experts. On the day of closing arguments, the prosecutor pulled me aside. "I'm going to be honest with you, Mr. Chin. This could go either way. If they buy the insanity defense, she might walk with psychiatric treatment and probation. That's not enough." "I know. But it's what we might get." I went home that night and held Emma while she cried herself to sleep. Again. Then I made a decision. If the law couldn't protect my daughter, I would. The jury deliberated for 3 days. When they came back, I held my breath. On the count of attempted murder, we find the defendant guilty. Emma squeezed my hand. I squeezed back, not daring to believe it. The jury foreman continued, his voice steady. On the second count of attempted murder, guilty. On the third count, guilty. Patricia's face went white. Her lawyer was already standing, preparing to argue sentencing. But then the judge spoke. "Mrs. Thornwell, while the court recognizes your prior standing in the community, what you did was unconscionable. You hunted a disabled child like an animal. You fired at her multiple times. And by the grace of God alone, she's still alive." He paused. "I'm sentencing you to 30 years in state prison. You'll be eligible for parole in 20. Patricia finally showed emotion. She screamed. Fought the bailiffs. Had to be dragged from the courtroom. Emma buried her face in my shoulder. "Is it over, Daddy?" "Yeah, baby. It's over. But I was wrong." Because 3 weeks later, Patricia's lawyer filed an appeal. A technicality. A procedural error. Something that could get the whole verdict thrown out. And even if it didn't work, even if she stayed in prison, the damage was done. Emma had nightmares every night. She'd stopped going outside. Refused to walk to neighbors' houses. Her progress in physical therapy had reversed. She'd given up on so many things she'd worked so hard for. Patricia had tried to murder my daughter. But she'd succeeded in killing Emma's spirit. And that was when I understood. The law had given me justice, but my daughter needed more than that. She needed to heal. And she couldn't heal while I was drowning in my own rage and helplessness. Detective Morrison called me 6 months after the trial. "Mr. Chin, I need to talk to you about something." My stomach dropped. "What happened? Is Patricia out?" No. She's still in prison and the appeal was denied. "But there's been a development." She paused. "Patricia's gun. The one she used. We traced the serial number. And it was registered to her late husband. He died 2 years ago, suicide. He shot himself with that same gun." I said nothing. Our investigation revealed that Patricia had been abusing him for years. Psychological abuse. Financial control. He left a note saying he couldn't take it anymore. But there was no investigation at the time. It was ruled a straightforward suicide. My voice was hollow. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you deserve to know what kind of person she is. And because..." Morrison sighed. "Her family is trying to paint her as the victim now. Saying she was traumatized by her husband's death, that it made her snap. They're planning a media campaign. To make people feel sorry for her." "Yes. And you're warning me." "I'm telling you that no matter what happens, you saved your daughter's life that day. You got between her and a bullet. That's what matters. Don't let their narrative change what really happened." I thanked her and hung up. Then I sat Emma down and told her something I should have told her months ago. "Baby, I need to say something to you." She looked up at me with those big eyes, still shadowed with fear. "What Mrs. Thornwell did wasn't your fault. Not any part of it. She was sick in a way that had nothing to do with you. You didn't cause it. You couldn't have prevented it. And you're not broken because of what happened." Emma's lip trembled. "But I'm scared all the time now." "I know. And that's okay. Being scared means you're normal, that you're processing something terrible. But here's what I need you to understand. You're the strongest person I know. You've fought your whole life just to do things other kids take for granted. You've never given up. And you're not going to give up now. But what if there's another Mrs. Thornwell? What if someone else? Then I'll be there. I'll always be there." "But Emma, most people aren't like her. Most people are like Mrs. Henderson and Mr. Rodriguez, and all the neighbors who stood up for us. Most people are good." She thought about that for a long moment. "Can we move, Daddy? Somewhere new? Where nobody knows what happened?" "If that's what you need, yes. We can go anywhere you want. I want to go somewhere with lots of kids. Where I can make friends. Where nobody knows I'm the girl who got shot at." So we moved. 3 states away to a small town with no HOA, a neighborhood full of families, and a school district known for its special needs programs. Emma started over. New school. New therapist. New friends who knew her as Emma, not the girl from that news story. And slowly, so slowly I almost didn't notice at first, she started healing. She started going outside again. Smiling again. Talking about the future again. One night, a year after we moved, she came into the living room holding a piece of paper. "Daddy, I made something for you." It was a drawing. 2 figures, one tall, one small, holding hands. Above them she'd written in careful letters, "Me and Daddy. Forever." I pulled her into my arms and held her tight. "Forever, baby. Forever." 2 years after the trial, I got a letter from prison. From Patricia. I almost threw it away without reading it. But something made me open it. The letter was short. "Mr. Chin, I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. What I did was unforgivable. I want you to know that I understand now what I couldn't see then. Your daughter did nothing wrong. She was innocent. She is innocent. And I destroyed something beautiful because I was so consumed by my own pain and anger that I couldn't see past it. I think about her every day. I think about what I almost did. And I'm grateful, truly grateful, that I missed. I'm getting help now. Real help. It's too late to undo what I did, but maybe it's not too late to become someone who would never do it again. I don't ask for your forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that I see the truth now. I'm sorry. Patricia Thornwell." I read it 3 times. Then I did something I never expected to do. I wrote back. "Patricia, I accept your apology for what it is. Too little, too late, but still something. My daughter is healing. She's strong. She's happy. She's everything you tried to destroy and she survived anyway. That's not because of any mercy you showed none. It's because she's tougher than both of us. I don't forgive you. I don't think I ever will. But I don't hate you anymore either. Hate takes energy I'd rather spend on my daughter. We're moving on. I suggest you do the same. Marcus Chin." I never heard from her again. Emma is 15 now. She walks with a cane these days, but she walks everywhere, school friends' houses, the mall. She joined the art club at her high school. She has a boyfriend who treats her like she's made of sunshine. She wants to be a teacher. She still has nightmares sometimes. Bad days when the memories come back. But they're getting farther apart. We never talk about Patricia unless Emma brings it up. And when she does, I listen. Last week we were sitting on the porch, our new porch in our new house in our new town, watching the sunset. Daddy? Yeah, baby? Do you ever wish you'd killed her? Mrs. Thornwell? I thought about lying. But Emma deserved the truth. Yeah. For a long time I did. I thought about it every day. But you didn't. No. Why not? I looked at her, this brave, beautiful, impossibly strong young woman who'd survived something that would have broken most adults. Because you needed me more than I needed revenge. Because the best way to beat someone who tried to destroy you is to keep living. To keep being happy. To keep being you. Emma nodded slowly. Mrs. Henderson told me something once. After we moved, she sent me a letter. She said that holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. She's right. So we're not drinking poison anymore? No, baby. We're not. She smiled and leaned her head on my shoulder. Good. Because I like our life now. And I don't want anything to ruin it. Nothing will. I promise. We sat there as the sun went down, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink and purple. And for the first time in years I felt something I'd almost forgotten. Not because Patricia was in prison. Not because justice had been served. But because despite everything she tried to take from us, Emma was still here. Still fighting. Still shining. She'd aimed at my daughter's head. She'd missed by 3 inches. And that 3 inches was all the difference in the world. Emma graduated from high school with honors. She's in college now, studying elementary education with a focus on special needs children. She wants to help kids like her. Kids who fight every day. Kids who need someone who understands. Last week she called me excited. Daddy, guess what? I got accepted to volunteer at the children's hospital. I'm going to work with kids in physical therapy. That's amazing, sweetheart. I'm so proud of you. I've been thinking about writing a book. About what happened. To help other families who go through trauma. Do you think you're ready for that? I think so. Because it's not just about what happened to us. It's about what we did after. How we survived. How we didn't let it define us. You're right. It's a story worth telling. Will you help me write it? Emma, I'd be honored. So here we are. Writing our story. Not for revenge. Not even for justice. But for healing. Because that's the real victory. Patricia tried to take everything from us that day. She tried to take Emma's life, her future, her happiness. She failed. And now Emma is using what happened to help others. She's turning the worst day of our lives into something that might save someone else. That's not just survival. That's triumph. And it's the only revenge that ever really mattered. For everyone who's ever been bullied, targeted, or told they don't belong, you do. You belong everywhere. And the people who try to make you feel otherwise? They're the ones with the problem, not you. Keep walking. Keep fighting. Keep shining. You're stronger than you know.